A very warm good evening to all of you. A very special welcome to all our lovely elders who are actually like flowers which will never ever wilt. So, as a special gesture towards all the kindness to all our favorite elders, we are celebrating India's first ever Elder Festival. So, I welcome each and every one of you present here to our Elder Hour program. And today, on this Friday, we have a very, very interesting topic for all of you, which is hypnosis. So, life is 10% what you experience and 90% how you respond to it. All problems in life are problem trances, and all solutions are solution trances. Hypnosis is a human condition involving focused attention and reduced peripheral awareness, and an enhanced capacity to respond to suggestion. Hypnosis is about shutting down the conscious mind and reigniting the unconscious and the imagination. People use hypnosis not as a cure, but as a means of establishing a favorable climate in which to learn. So, for today's evening, we have a one and only very special and very respected guest, Dr. Rajgopal Nidamboor from Docos 360. So he has joined us before, and his sessions have always been very, very enlightening. So for some of you who don't know him, so Dr. Rajgopal Nidamboor, PhD, is a wellness physician, writer, editor, independent researcher, columnist, and an author. His published work includes hundreds of newspaper, magazine, web articles, essays, meditations, columns, and critics on a host of subjects. He's written 8 books on natural health, 2 coffee table tomes, and an encyclopedic treatise on Indian philosophy. At present, he is Chief Wellness Officer at Doco 360, a mobile health application or a platform connecting patients with Ayurvedic and homeopathic physicians and nutrition therapists, among others, from their own comfort of their own homes. So, Dr. Rajgopal, a very warm welcome to you, and really, really a pleasure to have you here with us again. And as I mentioned earlier, your sessions have always been very, very informative, very enlightening, and very, very interesting. And today's topic, especially, is a very mystical and enigmatic kind of a topic. And somewhere all of us have it in our hearts to kind of, know more about it. So really looking forward to today's session. So over to you. I will not take much time. So over to you, and welcome once again.
Thank you, Ritu. You're able to hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. In fact, you gave such a wonderful introduction to hypnosis. I was just thinking, is there anything for me to sort of get into? No, it was very well said, and you articulated it so well.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The topic, as Ritu has already announced, it's hypnosis. See, hypnosis is a very simple thing if you look at the whole perspective or the perspective of it. We are all under hypnosis day in and day out. From the moment we get up in the morning till we go to sleep, we are in a state of hypnosis in the sense that, somebody has a good word for you. You feel buoyant. You feel very happy about it all through the day. Same way, take for instance, your boss has a nasty comment or a word for something which you didn't achieve the previous day, and you're put off. You get into that shell, where there is so much of negativity. And this is, again, you come under the spell of hypnosis. Well, this is a metaphor that I've used. But the matter of fact is, the discovery of hypnosis is attributed to Franz Antoine Mesmer, the maverick 18th century Viennese physician. He used a method similar to what we use in modern hypnosis or hypnotherapy, with the sole intention of removing neurotic symptoms. He discovered that when he applied magnets on some of his patients, their psychological symptoms vanished. He realized later that magnets were not required on some of his patients, and that merely passing of hands, as they call it in hypnosis, over his subjects and initiating suitable suggestions were adequate. He claimed that the amazing success of his treatment emanated from a sort of animal magnetism, which channeled from him to his patients. Interestingly, Mesmer also thought of this mechanism of releasing energy as essentially immaterial and also spiritual. So let's move on a bit. While James Braid put Mesmer's ideas on a sound platform, it was of course left to the genius of Jean-Martin Charcot, the renowned neurologist, to perfect the system under whose influence Sigmund Freud, ironically a not so efficient hypnotist, came to develop the study of neurosis in his own mode. Hypnosis has, as a result, now advanced a long way, also far from the crude, sometimes bizarre, even violent setting of its early mesmeric days. The word hypnosis, or maybe we could call it therapeutic hypnosis, or better still, hypnotherapy, connotes awe and perplexity in most people. Actually, it isn't either. It is essentially a condition where the mind accepts suggestions articulated by the therapist. Most clinical hypnotherapists prefer to call hypnosis a state of heightened suggestibility, a state that can be generated, as you would know perhaps, by a permutation of elements, namely a fixation of a point, maybe the ceiling fan, or maybe a timepiece, or rhythmic repetitive instructions, or the use of a categorized series of suggestions. For example, you will now feel heavy in the eye. That is how the voice, is modulated for one to drive home the point. Add to this relaxation and also slowed respiration through which the subject or the individual or the patient is advised to concentrate or focus on a particular thing or thought, which the therapist interprets as appropriate, and you are witness to its calming therapeutic effect or effects. When the subject relaxes during hypnosis, they yield control of themselves in several ways. Let's go step by step. When one progressively enters a trance-like state where they feel or act in the exact manner as defined by the therapist, they will live through what they are told. I'll give you a few examples. The hypnotherapist may tell the subject, listen, alcohol is disgustingly dangerous, that smoking is killing, or that you'll be able to do well in academics, career, or even on the sports field. You may also, for instance, be convinced by the therapist, especially during stage hypnosis, although this is not part of our discussion today. It is thoroughly fascinating, the idea of stage hypnosis, but it is not something that, as I already cited, we look into. For instance, in stage hypnosis, the therapist, may say that asafoetida may smell like French perfume, or a snake is crawling over your shoulders. You literally get into that hallucination of thinking, yes, asafoetida is smelling, just like French perfume, and a snake is also crawling on my shoulder. That's the impact it has, stage hypnosis. Okay, that's for another day. Now let's move on. In fact, there are a few brain effect studies that sort of explain why hypnosis has become increasingly useful as a therapeutic tool in conventional medicine, as also in complementary and alternative medicine protocols. A study, for instance, conducted in the US reported that hypnosis actually blocks pain signals from getting to the part of the brain responsible for conscious perception of such a distress. This again suggests why hypnosis often helps one to go through the ordeal of tooth extractions. See, most of us, when we think of the dentist chair, there is a sort of dread in us. We feel it will be agonizing and, oh my goodness, why did I ever have this problem with the tooth? Likewise, it can also help patients with third-degree burns. They feel, under hypnosis, that it's not agonizing. Or for that matter, cancer patients who can construe under hypnosis that chemotherapy isn't nauseating at all. This is the greatest advantage if you look at the overall picture. Okay, now let's come to the stages in hypnotherapy or hypnosis. The first stage, as we may call it, is age regression, where the subject returns to a world of an earlier period and acts accordingly. The second is amnesia. You know what is amnesia? The subject returns to a world, or he is not able to recollect what happened during the trance. The third is time distortion, where a short period feels like a long period of time. And the fourth is analgesia, where one is insensitive to normal painful stimuli. For instance, subjects, when they go into deep hypnotic states, go through a host of patterns too. For instance, there may be change in their breathing patterns. There may be a change in their skin complexion from bright to pale. There may be postural slump, just like this. There may be fluttering of eyelids, amplified watery red appearance around the eyes, and frequent swallowing of saliva. This happens when we are under extreme stress, maybe while public speaking, just about anything, where it brings in a lot of stress, and so on. So let's go back to the definition. Hypnosis is derived from the word hypnos, which in Greek means sleep, but it's not actually sleep. We'll go to that later. The reason why it's not sleep is for a simple reason. The subject is able to figure out almost everything they would do in the wakeful state. This also has been independently demonstrated by electronic brain studies, what we call as brain wave pattern studies, and neurological research. Hypnosis, put simply, is primarily a subjective experience. Of course, it is to a certain extent, thanks to new advancement in technology and medicine, is objective, maybe to an extent, because of EEG studies, electroencephalogram patterns, or MRI findings, pulse respiratory rate changes, as also the most objective thing one can observe is behavioral and motor changes in the individual that's gone into a trance. And of course, this can be observed, monitored, measured, and documented. Of course, from the psychological point of view, hypnosis enables one to suspend normal cynicism, because most of us, more often than not, tend to be cynics, and it's a question of hypnosis. We always have skepticism creeping in. And but the point is, hypnosis allows the individual to focus attention on a solitary or distinct image and be open to suggestions created by the therapist. Now let's go into the brain imaging studies that demonstrate that hypnosis can alter the manner in which we receive sensory images in the brain, and those sensory images are experienced in the body. For instance, certain scans have revealed some active areas of the brain through which hypnotized subjects or patients, as we may call them, process suggested sounds or images as articulated or defined by the hypnotherapist in the same part of the brain that registered or registers real patterns. Now you got it. This is the precise reason why hypnosis seems to work. Remember, the brain accepts hallucinations as genuine during hypnosis. On the contrary, just imagining sensations without hypnosis may not have the same effect. See, we can't have that thing, if we are not under hypnosis, we don't really, sort of tend to think that, okay, this is hallucination. We cannot be so dismissive of it if we know that it's not hallucination. This explains why hypnosis is being used with good effect as a handy tool in deep muscle relaxation, more so in the treatment of anxiety. When the subject has closed their eyes and is completely relaxed, the therapist instructs them to visualize various anxiety-producing situations, starting from the mildest and thereafter moving on to the more distressing of symptoms. See, when this happens, the subject gets relaxed following hypnotic treatment or hypnotherapy in a session. So when you follow such unconventional instructions, it leads to what is called as hypnotic susceptibility. Therapists report that children between age 7 and 14 are the most susceptible. Although 75 to 85% of people, all of us, can be hypnotized. It is also evidenced that individuals who can be easily hypnotized are the ones most likely to derive the maximum benefits. Okay, let's think of a benchmark for this. One such validation as benchmark is the intelligence quotient. The greater the IQ, the better is the prospect of a good response. What is more, hypnosis has been in recent times used under professional guidance to boost or improve one's emotional quotient, EQ, which has been made so famous by Dr. Daniel Goleman through his famous book, Emotional Intelligence. Most of you would have read it anyway. Also, most people report they know that they have been hypnotized, although some tend to sort of report or speak about a special, almost mystical state. If at all you have been hypnotized or you've gone through a hypnotic session, I'm sure you'll be able to relate to what I'm saying now. Let's move on. Hypnosis, for the most part, is intended to induce relaxation and a willingness to listen. See, most of us are not basically good listeners. We tend to sort of interrupt, we tend to speak, this is what happens normally, although there are some people who are very good listeners. Okay, the process occasionally establishes, I'm referring to relaxation and a willingness to listen. This sometimes establishes a special kind of connect or empathy between the subject and the therapist, sometimes with powerful emotional overtones. So much so, when this happens, most susceptible subjects could be made susceptible without direct hypnotic suggestions, for instance, via telephone. So this can be sometimes, you wouldn't call it, it can lead to some dangerous situation, but it can be something which may not be pleasant. There is a downside to it. Let us not get into the nitty-gritty of it. I think you got my point. See, let's come to what exactly are the advantages and limitations of hypnosis or hypnotherapy. Hypnosis is evidence to leave the individual with more control over their actions in health and also illness. However, this may be, the therapy on its own cannot treat all psychosomatic and other disorders, as may be the popular opinion that hypnosis is useful for XYZ, ABC, whatever as the case may be. It has its advantages, also limitations, as I've already said, like any other system of healing, because there is no system that is exclusive that you can use for just about everything. There are limitations, advantages, disadvantages, downside, upside, just about everything. This is primarily because most organic disorders require meditation. Sorry, too much into meditation, medication, other treatments, and lifestyle changes. Hypnosis is often useful in such cases as an adjuvant, not as primary line of treatment. Let me underline the point. Because the anxiety factor, the most likely bugbear, can be reduced and the rate of recovery speeded up in illnesses. This has been also clinically established following operative procedures where significant healing of the surgical wound often emerges under hypnotic treatment. Hypnosis has proved to be a useful or a successful supplementary therapeutic method in the treatment of medical disorders such as asthma, arthritis, eczema, atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, warts, among others, including depression, obviously, and also anxiety, as I've already spoken earlier. Not to speak of obesity too. Okay. Of course, for skeptics, hypnotic behavior or behaviors are no different from behaviors of subjects willing to think about and picture themes or images suggested to them. If subjects' attitudes towards a given situation can lead them to expect certain outcomes or effects, they are more likely to occur. That's the reason why you have something called as CBT. Okay. Which is used, in place of hypnosis by some therapists. Okay. Now let's move on to the next point. Hypnotic suggestions from sittings or after repeated hearings from maybe a recorded clip or a video clip, as the case may be of enormous help, if you're not able to go to the hypnotherapist, and this is possible. And it's practical too in these times, the most difficult times that we are all going through. They can, when used properly under professional guidance, reduce the pain complex of the expectant mother during labor. See, it's agony, following agony, it is ecstasy for the mother, expectant mother, as you all know. And it can also help, hypnosis, to get over a bad habit. I've already referred to smoking at the outset, alcohol or drug addiction, or make an extremely nervous individual relax. And this is especially useful for students, just before exams. You may have prepared very well because you get to know, as parents, as brother, sister, or as the case may be, or friends, You know of certain friends who are absolutely good in studies, but they're just not able to deliver. When it comes to a written exam or a viva, as the case may be. So in these times, I mean, when such a situation occurs or a person is going through often during one's academic career, possibly hypnosis would be a handy tool to reduce the level of their anxiety and then make them relax. Because all of us know the more relaxed we are, the better is our productivity and our output. When you're tense, you're not able to sort of focus and deliver. This happens across, anything you can think of, be it workplace, be it your day-to-day, whatever as the case may be. When you're not in the zone, as psychologists say, there's something which doesn't work. Things go carrot, and then you lose the plot. Sometimes when it comes to delivering something at the workplace or wherever as the case may be, or maybe a meeting, a job interview, just about anything can bring anxiety. Anxiety is good; it drives you to your goal. But when there is too much of anxiety and too much of stress, it may be counterproductive. And also, this is the downside to it all. So the more relaxed you are, the better is your capabilities. Of course, everybody is endowed with capabilities, but when it comes to crunch, you're not able to deliver. It happens in cricket, it happens in football, just about anything you can think of. When a guy, a batsman is not in the zone, he's not able to time the ball well, and there everything goes wrong. So this is how hypnosis can help, especially from repeated hearings from a recorded clip, or you could use anything that's available. You can record your hypnotic sessions, or of course with permission, or he or she, hypnotherapist, would be willing to give it to you on a clip, and then you can listen to it in the comfort of your home. So this is one thing. Secondly, there is something which is quite common. Some kids have what is called as stammering. It leads to low self-esteem, low self-confidence. So this is where hypnosis could be useful to for one to get over the stammering problem. Okay, and in addition to that, hypnosis can be used to improve learning skills in students or just about anybody, and also to sort of propel sports persons to get over despair, the depths of despair when they're not doing well, that goes into their mind, to their head. Or lean trots, as they call it, for cricketers, especially batsmen. And when somebody uses hypnosis, it can sort of turn around, their career for a higher purpose. And I can give you a few examples of some of the great cricketers that have used hypnosis to get over a lean trot. Although Vivian Richards is one of them, but he didn't go through a lean trot for a long time. And there are just few patches in his career where he was off the groove. So it helped him overcome that short period of time when he was not doing well. And Michael Jordan has also used hypnosis to do well in his career. So also Tiger Woods, the golfer, among others. So again, we come back to the reason, the simple reason of relaxation. Relaxation, as hypnosis achieves, is everything in life. It brings out the best in us all, just as nature has endowed us with, to augment and expand our prospects and take us to the next level. So this is part one, conclusion of part one. And now we go on to a small, short session. Let's call it self-hypnosis. I'll first go through as to how you should sort of follow the instructions that I would give you. And please listen to me carefully and try to relax as much as possible. I'll take you through, and then you will have to do it on your own. Okay? Hello? Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
Dr.
you are able to hear
Rajgopal.
me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Yes, Ritu. Now the self-hypnosis session. I'll just go through and
yes.
please listen to me carefully. And it's a very simple thing that I've worked on. It's not rocket science at all. Just about anybody do it. So the first step is to lie down if you can, or you could sit comfortably in your chair. If it has handrest, all the more better. And then, you should close your eyes. Okay, you be my subject. So you close your eyes
आप
and
मुझे
then,
कह रहे हो?
yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll just show you and then you can
All right.
take them through because I'm not
Um,
there. The offline, online, it's very difficult. So I need your help. So I'll take you through. You just listen to me. You need not do it just about everything, but you sort of try to, mimic whatever I say. Okay. So the
sure.
first thing is relax as much as you can, comfortably, to the best extent possible. Think of some wonderful place in the Caribbean or something, your favorite destination, favorite, whatever, tourist, spot, whatever you can think of, not a problem. So then when you're fully relaxed, you need to take 3 deep breaths like this. I'll show you. Okay. One in and out is equal to 1 breath. In and out.
Right.
Inhalation and expiration equals 1 breath. Okay.
Right.
Got it?
Got
Okay.
it.
Next, try to sort of relax, a bit. And now start counting from 1, 2, 3. All of them are, in and out. You're okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No need to hurry. You can take your time. You should be comfortable. If somebody rushes through the process, then there isn't any effect at all. So you need to be relaxed. And you got my point?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. And as you start counting, you're relaxed. You feel your breath. All that is fine. But when you count 1, 2, go to 3, 4, you will feel your breathing, sort of expands. Okay. And when you reach 4, 5, 6, and thereafter 7, 8, 9, 10, it reaches the peak, or you could call it the crescendo, where you're able to sort of feel, the lungs expanding to an extent. That's feeling actually. Okay. And after that, you need to wait for a couple of seconds or maybe a few seconds to give yourself an instruction. Okay, it can be anything. I'll give you a few examples. Maybe you can say that I'll be more relaxed, or you can say I will sleep well. Okay, or anything, because it has to be something very personalized. It is bespoke, instruction in the sense it's only for you. And if you're not able to sort of focus on something, you can give yourself an instruction on the same lines. Okay, because I wouldn't know what you could think of or what somebody else would think of. So it is left to oneself to think of a simple 1-line instruction. Should not be more than 3 to 5 or 6, maximum 5 words. Okay, just 5 words, because otherwise it may lose its intensity. Okay, or you could just say, I will sleep well, something like that. I leave it to whoever wants to do it. Now pause for a few seconds, but the breathing should be going on. There is no need to count, and then you have to start slowly to count backwards. Okay, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. Okay, you're counting backwards. Okay, there you're counting forwards when you took off for your self-hypnotic session. And now you're going to count backwards. And same thing will happen, you see. You will feel or realize that your breathing reduces, albeit slowly, in its intensity and gets back to normal as you started. You know, when you reach maybe 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And now, please don't, just get up quickly or in a hurry. You should keep breathing normally with your eyes closed, and you should relax for a few more seconds. Following which, you have to open your eyes very slowly. Very, very, very slowly. And you should also get up very, very, very slowly. And then you can get back to what you're doing. That's about it for the self-hypnosis session. Do it daily. You'll feel good, you'll feel relaxed, and you'll feel energetic as well. And more importantly, you'll be able to achieve whatever you give yourself by way of instruction. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajgopal.
Yes, my pleasure. It's always been a pleasure to be with you guys.
Same here.
And maybe you can have a session, and if it is possible.
True.
In fact, if you want, I can take you through it again. Not a problem. But the only thing, it's subject to the time availability for you.
We still have a little bit of time available, Dr. Rajgopal. So definitely you can take us again, and maybe everybody can just give it a try.
Okay, what I'll do, I'll speak, and then you please follow my instructions. And only when it comes to giving yourself the instruction, then I'll keep quiet for a couple of seconds.
Right, right.
Okay, so let's try. And anyway, there is no harm in this. Nobody is going to go into deep trance where it may become difficult for all of us. Hopefully not. And because it's just a self sort of instruction that you give yourself. So it won't lead to that stage 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of. No, it won't. Because there are quite a few people that they do it on a regular basis. And in fact, I had to spoke with quite a few people on the phone and made them relax. So I don't think it should be a problem. So we'll go through the session right now. You ready?
Yeah, is everyone else also ready?
Ask them to please relax. I'll take a couple of seconds perhaps for them to, maybe an itch you can attend to, not a problem. But yes, if it is a mental itch, it's an itch that you can't scratch. So leave it there.
Yeah, so basically we're just talking about self-hypnosis, where it is more of a suggestion to yourself, which makes us do things. And since it is not being done by him, it is our own way of kind of suggesting things to us, and we are not going to go into any kind of a trance or जो हम हमेशा पिक्चरों में देखते हैं ऐसी situation नहीं हो रही. That is what Dr. Rajgopal is saying, that it is more of like personally, if he was to tell me to do it, I would probably take it deep and tell myself to relax and not always be stressed out. With my workload. So that is some suggestion, or the fact that I should sleep in time and kind of get my full 8 hours of sleep. So that would be the self-hypnosis that I want to do for myself right now. So for anything that you all feel, so whatever he's saying, maybe we all could just go through it. And please be rest assured, according to him, what he has said is that nobody's going to go into a situation wherein we will not know what is doing and anybody can control us. So that is definitely not the way it is going to be. So do give it a try. And of course, when we have him next, then he can actually have a group hypnotism. Then maybe that will be entirely different. So, but then also, since I have been into
also
it,
fun.
Actually, because I have been into it once, and there is one side of your mind which is acutely conscious of what's happening, but there's another subconscious mind which opens up and you kind of, relive few things as such, but it is nothing which is kind of going into, and it is individual kind of hypnosis, which actually makes you go into a situation wherein you just go into your subconscious mind. So, okay, there are a few questions. So let's just very quickly go through this, and then we can take on the questions. There are
Or we could do
questions.
it in another way. Maybe you could go through this session. I'll take you through, and then maybe if time permits, you can sort of be the hypnotherapist out there and take them through this as
Oh my God. I won't dare to do that.
No, Ritu, you see, the higher the IQ, which obviously you have, the better the response. I've already cited,
Tell that to my husband.
So what we can do, anyway, it takes just about 5 minutes, max 5 to 6
Right.
minutes. And I'll take you through if you want, and then you can, sort of instruct them, and you will see, how it works. Once or twice if they do. Initially, I'll tell you, not everybody will sort of get into the group. Doesn't happen. Like meditation. You could call it auto-suggestion, you could call it meditative state. They're all the same, but only thing we are using different terminologies. But here what happens is you are giving an instruction which you don't do probably in meditation or any other. Meditation, more often you focus on certain thing, or you focus on yourself, the cosmos, just about everything. Because it's not changing the world, it's changing yourself. That's meditation. So hypnosis also achieves the same prospect. That is changing yourself, or sort of instructing yourself to maybe do better in something, or get a good night's sleep, or maybe more relaxed workplace, all such stuff. So you could, if you want, I can just take you through. Not a problem. We'll start.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Relax. Keep your hands. I mean, if there is if you can make yourself comfortable, all of us tend to have, the moment we sit, we can't be relaxed. So you can just shift, and you get into the most comfortable position that you want to. And once you achieve it, then, I will start. And then you can just give me a thumbs up sign or something like that. Not a problem. Okay. Now take 3 deep breaths in, out. Start counting from 1, in and out. Likewise, you go on to 2, 3, up to 10. And as you begin your counts, when you reach 3 or 4, your breathing automatically expands. And as you move further, it peaks or reaches the crescendo. And once you reach 10, pause for a few seconds. And pause and give yourself the instruction you want 3 times. And once you're through with it, slowly begin to count from 1 back to 10. Sorry, from 10 back to 1. As you slowly count from 10 back to 1, your breathing slowly reduces in its intensity and gets normal, almost as normal as when you started. Just relax a bit, relax a bit, relax a bit. Get back to your normal position. That is it.
So I don't know about everyone else while I was going through it. When I was giving my auto suggestion and I was kind of counting backwards on my breathing, I don't know, my brain was definitely sending me some signals which were more than the activity which usually happens. So I don't know if that is the auto suggestion or what, but that is what I experienced, to be honest.
Yeah, it is auto suggestion. You could call it auto suggestion, not a problem. But self-hypnosis would be a good word, because auto suggestion, again, you're sort of drilling something in your mind. So it's better to be sort of open to the idea, because the moment we think of certain terms, they have a ripple effect on the mind. So the more accommodative we are, the better is the prospect of a good outcome. So that's the basics. Or, for instance, I'll just tell you, my mentor, great man, he used to say that think of hypnosis like daydreaming. You listen to soft, music, it has an effect on your mind. And sometimes you drive back from your work to your home, you're so relaxed, especially if you're listening to music, that it's almost an autopilot that you reach home and you don't even think that you're driven your car. This is again, something of a hypnotic state, not necessarily, of course, you're conscious, you're aware of just about everything. Okay. So for easy comprehension, you tell, people that, especially during these sessions, that, you should think of hypnosis like daydreaming, something. I mean, that's the relaxation. When you're relaxed, you drive, it becomes sort of autopilot thing. You would have done it 100 times, driving to your office or coming home. You wouldn't think, okay, you've gone through, the traffic, just about anything, which is disturbing. More traffic catch-ups than jams today. I mean, not necessarily in these times of COVID, but that's how it works. And that's one thing. Second thing is, like I told at the outset, that a good pat from the back, on your back from your boss, when you begin your day, you carry it throughout the day. And if there is something negative, on the contrary, you carry it all through the day. So in one instance, the first instance, you're happy, you're buoyant. In the other, you're not. So that has a definitive effect on the mind and on our work just as well. So you're all in a state of hypnosis. What happens around us also has an effect. It all depends on how we take things. This has been the most disastrous time for all human beings, especially COVID-19. And many people have that anxiety build up, fear, just about everything. So we don't have much to do, and there is nothing you spend on self-hypnosis. It comes free, absolutely. And you could do it in the comfort of your own home anytime of the day, or if you are disturbed, during sleep, yes, you can do it before you go to sleep, maybe 10 minutes before, and then slowly go to sleep. It's better not to go to sleep immediately. You should give a gap, which will be always helpful, because the instructions would have gone deep into your mind. If you give a pause of maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes, instead of just going to sleep directly. So that's all there is to it. Of course, it's a vast subject. It's a short session, and there are too many subtleties which we couldn't cover because they're too technical, so to speak. So not necessary. The gist of it, I think, to the extent possible, should be okay.
So thank you, Dr. Rajgopal.
My pleasure again.
Indeed a wonderful session, and I have now whatever I had to think of, I've thought of it, and I'm going to try doing it so that I am more relaxed and I can sleep well, because whatever you suggested, immediately that also occurred to me. But I'm sure all the elders also have their own set of things. Maybe they don't sleep well, maybe there is pain, they can auto-suggest, they can self-hypnotize themselves to feel, less pain or whatever it is. I don't know if that's possible. But I think small things, at times, we just get bugged on smaller things. So maybe
absolutely
self-hypnotized to think that I should not get irritated on these things, which I can't control. Or if you're losing your temper, anything, it would be, I think, any small thing which helps us to become happier and more relaxed. I think that's what the whole aim here is. And if these small, this was such a small exercise for all of us. So if we can do it, at least I'm going to try now. So next time
maybe
I'm going
what
to
I'll do, I'll WhatsApp you,
yes.
just that part, I'll take a, I'll just type it out and send it across to you. Sure. I have it, my computer, and I send it to you on WhatsApp. So it becomes easy for one to follow.
Absolutely. So
I think there are quite a few messages coming up. Are they questions?
Let me just go through it, Dr. Rajgopal. Okay, the questions are: how is hypnosis different from counseling, or is it a tool for counselors? This is one question.
Yeah.
This is by Sagarika Mukherjee. How is hypnosis different from counseling?
Okay, that's the first question.
That's the first question, yes.
Yeah, it depends upon the person who is counseling. He or she uses hypnosis, that's one thing. But otherwise, not many would use hypnosis. They just speak, with such intensity, and they focus on, like I said, I think somewhere in the middle, I did point out that skeptics don't really, sort of look at hypnosis as being as effective. The same thing can happen when you give some images or pictures to subjects and counsel them. They will also be able to get into that, relaxation mode. So that is possible. So it all depends. It is up to the, the counselor or the therapist.
Right. The other question is auto-suggestion different from self-hypnosis?
Not really. You could think of them as more or less, but in the rough sense, yes, synonyms, sort of, because you are giving auto suggestions to yourself. So there is that auto thing built in. So same thing, for sake of easy comprehension, I think self-hypnosis would be a better word. That would be something which is, elitist, perhaps, from my point of view.
Okay, Mr. Ujjal wants to ask when Dr. Rajgopal says count 1 to 10, is it to be coordinated with the breathing?
Yes, one inspiration, two expiration. That is, each count you have to inspire, expire. You got it? One, it's one. When you take in breath, you leave it out. So that is counted as one. Same thing for 2, 3, 4, 5. So in and out is 1. In and out is 2. In and out is 3. Up to 10. So you take your breath in and leave it out. That counts as 1 and 2, 3. Same thing to be repeated.
Right. Next is a comment where Mr. Rajendra ji says, I think this is one type of meditation. Ranjana ji says, hypnosis permanently removes memory. It is only as long as a person gets direction. And Praveena ji has said, Ritu, now after your meditation, after your self-hypnosis, I'm looking more relaxed. And it's been a wonderful session.
Oh, thank
Shashi,
you. You made my evening.
I know. My evening is also made. And Shashi ji writes, I would like to learn this art. And Sagarika ji says, thank you. You have really given us food for thought. And Arun ji has written that it was a wonderful session. And Neelu ji has also written, thanks for all this information. So these are all the comments here. So thank you for telling me that I'm looking more relaxed now. I'm really happy to hear that. So because genuinely I felt something happening. And yes, like, you know, when you're stressed out, your head feels a little, tight or like kind of, you feel that. So yes, I am definitely, that feeling has gone away. So I'm definitely going to keep trying the self-hypnosis. And I think I will reach out to you, Dr. Rajgopal, for help
anytime,
on this.
Anytime. Yes. And also it's non-invasive. There is no medication, nothing at all. It's safe, non-invasive. Of course, when you undergo hypnotherapy, that's a different thing. But here, it's absolutely safe. I mean, I've never seen anybody, sort of report something that's gone wrong. So I think it's very safe, and I'll send it to you in next 2 minutes. And maybe you can share with whoever would want to do it. And I'll try to, break them into, and also give side instructions, as to how to count all that. So it becomes easy. And once you do it a couple of times, it will become a sort of habit. And you could even do it, there was a time when I used to be awfully high strung in college, school, and especially while playing cricket. And I used to do that. And I could even do it, maybe in train or in bus or whatever. You'd reach the stage, but please do it when you're driving.
Of course. So, so I think your tips are definitely going to be very, very helpful. WhatsApp pe keh rahe, so it will be easier for people to follow it. So I think exploring hypnotherapy is going to be very, very interesting. And with the help of the guided relaxation and applying the concentration, keeping our attention focused, enhancing our awareness, I think a lot of other things in our life, the problematic things might just go away. And the self-hypnosis could be helping us in small little ways and make our lives very different. So with that, once again, I thank you, Dr. Rajgopal, and
my
for
pleasure
this
again,
wonderful session. And you come up with such interesting things. I wish you were here and we could actually reach out to you and do all these things.
Yeah.
But whatever information we're getting, it's really, really enlightening for everyone. There are new things which we come to know, and new things that we realize. And I think learning is always great. So we look forward to many more such sessions with you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Especially more in the hypnotic side. I think today we've done self, maybe we would love to hear more about it next time also, whenever we have sessions with you. Or maybe you can come up with more interesting sessions. You always have some new things to,
Yeah. We'll
mix
think of
them.
something for our next session, and I'll try to make it as interesting or as simple as possible, leaving out all the technical rigmarole. Otherwise we have a tendency to use all those medical terminologies and stuff like that. It becomes difficult, for quick listening. So it's always better to break it into simple usage of words, etc.
True. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And I hope that you all enjoyed the session. And I hope all of you are going to use this self-hypnosis on yourself to have a more relaxed lifestyle. And we will again now meet tomorrow at 7:25 p.m. for our show and our Elders First Festival. And of course, our normal more TV sessions at 8 o'clock and 12 p.m. go on as usual. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and being a part of this Elder Hour. And thank you so much, Rajgopal, for once again joining us here and sparing your valuable time.
Thank you. Stay safe and well. God bless us all. So see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Take care.